Oh, the car from Carvana's here. Well, will you look at that? It's exactly what I ordered. Like, precisely. It would be crazy if there were any catches. But there aren't, right?
Right. Because that's how car buying should be. With Carvana, you get the car you want. Choose delivery or pickup, and a week to love it or return it.
Buy your car today with
Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Hello, and welcome to a session 0 for a upcoming game known as Mork Sol. We will be playing this game. It is a game developed by Infinite Citadel. It is a Mork Borg hack, and it is right up our alley because it is dark space sci-fi TTRPG. And if there's one thing we like to do, it's go to space and get dark.
Hell, yeah.
Yeah, that's our niche.
Yeah, I saw that this game was kickstarting soon, and aside from the fact that it has just the coolest cover, I was just so hyped for this because, as you know, I like my Mork Borg-esque games, and I like my space games with my boys, and this is just the perfect intersection of both of those two things.
Niall's a real Borg head.
Real Borg head.
I know very little, so we're about to learn and have fun together.
The setting is very interesting to me because I know that, like, Mork Borg is all about sort of like the end of days and like it's a world like on its collapse. And this kind of like zooms out on a larger scale of being like, it's not just
everything's
the
everything's in collapse.
Everything is dying. Something in the like handbook or the rule book that I just really love because it's succinct and I think it really captures the vibe and the tone of the game is there's a section called the principles of play. And I think we're just going to jump in there and we'll start from there and we'll talk about kind of what makes us happy and what sparks joy and some of the more like important concepts about the game. And then we'll go into making characters and all that good stuff. But the principles of play have 4 like unique points. The first one being entropy consumes all. The stars are dying. Distant suns burn even dimmer until blinking out of existence. Null and its entropic force consumes the galaxy. It is likely that the last humans will experience the end of all things, watching helplessly as the final star burns away. Your game's entropic decay decides how soon. That's a pretty good way to sort of like set the stage of like what we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about, there's some thoughts or there's some concepts in there that we'll talk about in just a moment. The second one is we are alone. While there's some alien flora and fauna, there's no evidence that intelligent life still remains in the galaxy. The remnants of long dead alien civilizations remind us that at some point we may not have been alone, but wherever they went, they left a long time ago. Second to last, the pattern is not your friend. Some revere the pattern as a god. A holy equation containing all that has and will happen. Scholars study it, making predictions and prophecies based on what they see. It may well be that the pattern contains the sum of all creation and answers to all of our questions. Any scav will tell you the pattern may sometimes give, but null always takes. And finally, and I think the most important, almost everything wants you dead.
Yeah, as
Hell
the guy
yeah.
who knows the least about the Mork Borg world and universe and extended catalog is that, it just wants you dead all the time.
Hell yeah.
So there's a couple things that we talked about there that I think need explaining. First, the pattern, then null, and sort of entropic dice, or like the entropic aspect of things. So the pattern is what is known as the Chev-Ekman recurrence pattern. And that is what essentially allows people in this world to travel faster than light. It is the skip drive. But it is also sort of the like calculations of the universe, kind of.
Yeah. So I think like two inventions are kind of like have brought us to where we're at in Mork Sol, which is the comm wave, which is essentially being able to communicate reliably over long distances, and skip drive, which allows faster than light travel. And it's really cool because in like traveling in like skipping the pattern, which is the faster than light travel, you're entering null, and then null is what is bleeding out and like causing like increased entropy and like distortion and chaos in like the universe.
Yeah, it is like the nothing that exists between everything, and it's like, that's a very scary thought. And there's something I really want to talk about in terms of like tone. But let's talk. We've talked about the pattern briefly. We've talked about null, and also like there's a thing called null marks as well, which we'll also discuss in a bit. Which is like, just the more you go into the null, the more it actually takes its toll on you. So like you could skip around, sure, but like every time you slip into the null, you're not doing well. But then there's also, they mentioned the entropic dice, which is sort of like the countdown to the end of everything. So you can choose like how far away the end is going to be. So you could start with the D100, because every time you roll a 1, you roll on sort of like the entropic scale or chart, and another step towards the end of the world happens.
Yeah, so every day you roll the entropy die, and if it's ever a 1, you go down a die size. So it starts at D100, D20, D12, D8, D6, D4, and then if you roll a 1, heat death of the universe, I believe is.
I think the last one is even more grim than that. I believe the last one is a poem, which is even scarier.
Yes, because then there's the final one. Yes,
there's the null incursion. So it's like, just the entropic dice is its own thing, but every time you roll a 1, you also have a null incursion, in which the null sort of permeates into reality itself, and that is anything from like 1/3 of all the planets just die, and you lose like, a bunch of stuff. Things, civilizations begin to fall. The skip becomes unreliable, and there's a chance that your skip drive just won't work. The comm wave starts going bad. I believe at some point in time, everything gets pushed through space and time. So like, you don't know where anything is, which essentially makes like skip just almost impossible to do, because you don't know where planets are anymore.
Yeah. Everything is large or larger than a skip, which is your ship, is shunted through space-time. So all maps of the span are now useless, which is just so fucking cool.
Yeah. And then once the 7th incursion is, null consumes all. And you're like, okay. But the cool thing
Start
is,
a new universe.
You build a whole new universe from that, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, I love the idea of this like ticking clock in the background, and like I've always wanted, because I've only ever done like shorter kind of like Borg, like maybe 1 shots or a couple of shots. It's like the idea of doing a long form campaign and then like hitting that 1 and being like, oh shit, is really fucking cool to me.
So the one thing I really like about this, and I'm going to talk about the sort of like vibe and the thing that really speaks to me about this system, is there's some obvious influences and stuff, and I get a real strong influence from The Expanse. And the one thing I really, really, really liked about The Expanse was they made being in space scary. Even when the heroes are being heroes and everything is fine, like the way they address space travel and the way they address like resources and just being out in space was always scary. You always kind of like felt that claustrophobia of like, well, we're sitting like if anything goes wrong. And if you've seen The Expanse, you know that like everything always does in the worst way constantly. There's like there's just a sense of dread, because like even I think at the beginning of the show, they start on like this huge like thing, and you just feel uncomfortable on it, because you know that like they talk about how old it is, and you're just like, oh, it's kind of how I feel about like open water, where it's just like it's so big and so scary, and like you really are at the mercy of it if it goes bad.
Yeah, I really like that this game has that, but I also like that while maintaining that survival, like kind of like fear and mechanic, they also don't burden you with like intense resource keeping, because that is, I kind of like part and parcel of survival. It's like the fear that you run out of ammo, the fear that you run out of fuel, but like they don't make you track it by like the millimeter or the bullet. So after combat, if you shot your gun, you roll, and on a 1, you're out of ammo. You know what I mean? You roll D6, on the 1, you're out of ammo. You have what's known as your like cargo die, which is again kind of this instead of tracking individual like money or individual like cargoes, you just have a value. So a D4, a D6, a D8. Obviously, the higher up it goes, the more like nebulous cargo you're seen to have. And that's really cool because you can use that. It will eventually run out, and it runs out on a 1. So if you have a D4 and you want to buy something that's D4 value, you just roll, and if it's not a 1, you get it. And you can keep doing that until you hit that 1, but then it goes down. So like you could get unlucky, and the first time you go, prices have gone through the roof, and the thing you need takes all your cargo. Like while you were away, there's like a disaster, and now everything's so expensive, or you're just in a place that's like that one thing is rare. So that's really cool because you never really know. So there's that fear, but there's also not that like counting and like no one's whipping out their calculators, which I'm sure some people find fun, but I don't.
do not.
Yeah. So I think they've managed to bake survival into the game in a really fun way without torturing you with like resource tracking. And I just think that's really cool.
I'm also a sucker for like science fiction on the science end of things.
Wait, huh?
I love the like mathematical side of this, of like that there is some guy, I assume two people cracked the code of the universe, and that kind of like opened up, and like that's so much fun to play with, even if you don't ever really do anything in terms of narrative or plot or character. Just knowing that, just having that in the back of your mind, being like, there were 2 people smart enough to solve the universe, and like it's still kicking our ass. Right, because like you'd think that like, you know, with that kind of knowledge, you could really make everything much better. But it's like, no, entropy is still the guiding force of the universe. Like you cannot control it, no matter how much you know, no matter how strong you are, no matter how smart you are. Like the universe gonna universe.
I also love the idea of it as science, but also like religion. You know what I mean? Where people are like, oh, the pattern that holds the answers. And it's like, maybe. And when we get into like null marks later, there are going to be ways you can use the pattern, but there's generally a cost. And that is like costs for me. I just love it. I love I'm probably fucked. You know, so this is going to be a game with a lot of costs. And I love that.
Yeah, one of us is probably going to die. That's almost a guarantee.
Oh yeah, the Borgs are always very brutal, but I will say this game, despite being very brutal, it does something very fun, which we like met with the creators and we were talking about it, and this was one of their kind of like guiding lights, was like, you know, ship combat is often complicated. It often feels like a different game. And in a lot of games, especially in like Mork Borg-esque games, it's like almost instant death. So what they set out to do was to make space combat exciting, streamlined, and on top of that, like still dangerous, but like not in a way that kind of like punishes you for doing it. Like you have fucking cool spaceships. You should be able to fight with them. Yeah. So
and also feel like the same game. Like
exactly.
The conversion from fighting monsters or whatever on a ship is the same as fighting monsters in a ship. Yeah, which is cool.
They've done a very good job of that. So it's pretty seamless, and the ships again feel good, like they feel strong, but they are also, you know, not invincible. So it's a really good balance. But like there is like a slight higher level of like survivability, at least on the ship side of things, than maybe other like Mork Borg-esque games. So that's really cool because you can engage in these space fights and not feel like you're doing something wrong, which I love.
Basic stuff. Do we want to start rolling up our ship?
I think, well, let's talk about Null real quick.
Okay.
Because we didn't really get into Null. So Null is basically the space between spaces, the folds of the pattern, infinite recursion. And it's just like a realm of antimatter, a universe below the one we know, hell maybe. But it propagates into this reality further, creating deeper, stronger manifestations of discordant reality. And basically, like, as Dane mentioned earlier, the more you skip, the more you're like getting exposed to the null. And it's essentially bleeding into this world, which manifests in a lot of different ways. So null marks are essentially, for want of a better word, like magic in this world. If you've been touched by the null, you get a null mark, and that gives you access to either the pattern or the null. It also gives you a null bleed, which is kind of like a linked downside to that, you know, again, magic. Just every time I say magic, think of it in quotation marks, because it's not quite magic, but it effectively works that way. You're drawing on powers beyond what is normal. With that comes some downsides. You can get null sickness, which gets worse every time you skip, which I find is a really fun mechanic, because when you have a null mark, if you roll a 1, you critically fail and something really bad happens linked to your null bleed, which I might get some examples of this just so people know what I'm talking about and it's not so vague. Null marks, you could have, if you roll a 5, when you get one, you get Will of the Pattern, where one creature will blindly obey a single command. But every time you get one, you roll a null bleed, such as if you rolled a 1, it would be a psychic contagion, where you're infected with a psychic parasite, which feeds off your latent psychic energy. So once you have one of these marks, that is just a thing you're now living with. But when you roll a 1, when you critically fail, that's when it kind of steps in. So if you crit fail, it wriggles in the liminality of your mind. You have to test spine, which is one of your stats, or take 1d4 damage. And some of them get real bad. But every time, if you have null sickness, every time you then travel, that critical failure number goes from 1 to 2, from 2 to 3, from 3 to 4. And if it hits 12 or above, you basically run the risk of becoming this twisted version of yourself or exploding.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to segue into the Scourge as well, which is sort of the monster of the universe, in the sense of when you succumb to null sickness, you become the Scourge, which is, as Nal said, it's like a malignant, twisted alternate reality of you. But it's not limited. The thing I think is so fucking cool about this is it's not limited to infecting people.
Mm-hmm.
It can affect things, objects, data. So the Scourge can sort of permeate through many different things.
I think that's part of why it's so scary, because if it was a sickness, it was there's, bacteria or whatever, you could fight it. But if it's the kind of thing that can infect you or the desk or this video recording equally, how the fuck do you fight that, And
then there's a whole thing, which is going to be the crux of our adventure, where when physical objects become infected with the Scourge, if they ascend to a higher sort of resonance, they become Scourge artifacts, which are valuable but also incredibly dangerous, and this adventure will be focusing on you guys as Scourge artifact hunters.
So we're definitely gonna die.
Yeah, we're gonna do archaeology, and we're just gonna sit there and play in rocks and find fun stuff.
Yep,
I'm sure that's exactly how it's gonna go.
The whole episode, I'm calling it right now. Shot is called. Bang bang.
But yeah, it's such a cool setting. It's such a cool playground to know that you're fit for these cool space battles, but everything has a cost. You're always kind of riding that razor's edge of if I roll a 1, am I out of ammo? If I roll a 1, am I out of cargo? If I'm out of both, what the fuck do I do? Very exciting to me.
Shall we build a ship?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Do you want to build a spaceship?
You mean a space skip?
So yes, the ships are called skips, and much like the Borgs that have come before, a lot of it is random rolls if you want. I think that is... It's
always the best way to do it.
Yeah,
always.
I think if you want to choose things, I think go play something else. But I think the real joy of these types of games is just letting the dice do the work for you.
Yeah, the real Morhags roll the dice, baby.
The first thing we got to do is roll for the base hull points.
Oh, yeah.
Who wants the honors?
Well, it's 3d4s, so how about we all roll one?
Exactly.
What if Dane lives and makes it a 1, Niall? We can't trust him.
Well, you're welcome, because I rolled a 4.
I got a 3.
I got a 4.
That's fucking good, boys.
Something's going our way.
Wait, if now that we've pointed it out to the world, is Noel gonna take by giving us all 1 HP?
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have 11 base hull, which is pretty solid. That's almost max.
It's really good, especially because as we get modules, it'll add HP too. So
the next thing is we're going to be rolling your cargo size. So that's someone has to roll a D8.
Who's the quickest to find a D8?
There we go. I got it.
Beat me
it's
to
a 4.
it.
Okay.
Straight down the middle.
It says normal size cargo, and I get to determine what's normal. I think for my intents and purposes, I think a normal size cargo is something, it's like a crate that an average able-bodied person could carry with 2 hands. That to me
Okay.
seems like, have you ever seen those like big Pelican cases? That is, or like a cooler, the size of a good cooler, a big cooler.
We can only fit 4 of them. Damn. I
4
guess
coolers.
you know what? That's fine because when we're getting artifacts, it's like they're going to be small, I assume.
Now, so every skip begins with a helm, a life support, a bridge, a skip drive, a reactor, and a weapon hardpoint. And then there's once again 3 options. So who wants to roll for the weapons?
I did the last one, Ryan. I think you should do it.
Okay.
I think
got
we're all
this.
going to roll one of
these.
each of these. Yeah. So Ryan, if you want to take weapon,
That's a 3. So we have mines.
Oh,
Mines.
That seems bad.
that's a weird choice.
I didn't choose it.
No, the world chose for us.
I guess they're both modules. So we'll
Yeah.
roll. Do you want to do the first one or the second one?
I'll do the second one.
Okay.
Okay.
I got an engineering bay.
I got a 5, which is a range jammer.
Rage jammer. Engineering bay and a range jammer. That's nice, I think.
Well, we'll probably need a range jammer considering we can't fire our weapon at them. But it's kind of fun, actually. Like, tactically now, we have to lay mines and run.
Yep.
And then just the base HP as well, hull points. We get an additional 6. So your total is a 17, not including the 2 modules we just rolled. I'm not sure what they add. We'll have to check.
Nice.
You're starting with a cargo die of D4.
T4,
Cool.
barely enough to get by. Really, Dane?
So the engineering bay gives you an additional 5 hull points.
Damn,
Nice.
nice. Yeah, controls and tools necessary to manipulate the inner skunk works of your skip. Special ability, crew action, fine tune, position engineer, reassign an unused bridge pool die. And then range jammer gives us another 3 hull points. Special radios that inject destructive waveforms into nearby comm wave tech.
Sure.
So crew action, jam their sensors. You can do it from comms. You test smarts to grant -2 on all defense rounds or all defense tests for 1 round. So that would be, it'll help us avoid fire, essentially. We're jamming their radios so we can
Nice.
get out of the way, which I think is fucking cool.
Yeah, no, it's dope.
Very handy. And as for your mines, they are targeted. They do 310 damage. No attack roll. Detonate at the end of a turn in which the enemy enters its zone. Up to D3 targets in the same zone. Test defense.
That's cool. Yeah, honestly, like it does the most damage of anything there.
That's all we need. 1 shot, baby.
It's targeted, but its speed is 0. So usually targeted weapons every round move towards their target. But in this case, we will have to lay them and hopefully lure people into it. I think that's cool. Honestly, it kind of makes sense. It's like if we are like these nimble, like devious archaeologists, it doesn't make sense that we're rolling around like a battle cruiser, right?
Yeah. Well, we don't know if we're devious archaeologists or not until we roll our characters and see what we get.
I mean that we're going for these, dangerous artifacts.
Yeah,
but
we could
yes,
be
true.
a bunch of dummies.
No,
Very
no
true.
way.
Maybe we have a cool horse. We don't know yet.
So I don't know if you want to think of a name for the ship now, or if you want to like maybe roll your characters up first.
I want to
Yeah.
roll the characters first because I think that will determine
I agree.
who, what, where, when,
Yeah.
Then okay, we've got our skip. Let's make our scavs, which are the names for the player characters.
Let's do it. Should I go first?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to roll on the chart that we have.
Step 1, roll your skip class. So this is like your position in the crew.
Is a D8?
Or you could also choose to be a greenhorn either.
I don't know what that is, nor do I care for it.
Like it's you're brand new on a ship. But yeah, fuck it. These are more fun.
Okay, let's do it. I rolled a 6.
You are a point defense operator. So you have Missile Slayer, -2 DR. So for those who haven't played a Morkborg or similar game, essentially, usually you need to hit a 12. That's kind of like the common thing. You roll a d20, you add your stat, and if you hit a 12, unless it's a modified position, you know what I mean? If it's extra hard, it might be a 14 or a 16. If it's extra easy, it might be a 10 or an 8. But generally a 12. So -2 DR means Ryan will only have to hit a 10, for example, to complete this task. Yeah, so essentially like point defense is a position you can have in the ship where you can like snipe incoming missiles, which is really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Point events guy.
What's also really cool is you either get what's essentially a +2 rolling when trying to hit missiles, or instead of this benefit, you can choose to shoot 2 missiles in the same quadrant with your turn, and you roll separately for each. So like if 2 missiles are coming in, you have the ability to shoot both in one round, which is fucking cool.
Love that.
Should we both go through like
Yeah, I feel
just
like
trade off?
Yeah, we'll both go through one at a time.
Yeah. And we'll re-roll any similar ones because why would you want that? I got a 1. So I am an operator. I can perform the following crew action, belay that, reallocate an unused bridge pool D4. And we'll get to all that later.
All right, now it's time to roll your stats.
Nice.
The stats are really interesting. It's a very simple way to do it, and I like that. So you basically roll D4, then roll another D4, and the second one you minus from the first one.
Well, that sucks.
Well, no, but it's like you end up with the result, like a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, as opposed to getting a 10 or something, and then the 10 means 0. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if you roll a 1 on the first one and roll a 4, you have a -3, do you not?
Yep.
Yeah.
It can suck.
Man, I'm going to be so bad at stuff. So we have brawn, agility, spine, and smarts.
Yeah, those are the 4 stats. Brawn, agility, spine, smarts. So brawn is lift, punch, throw, hold your breath, take a hit. Agility is sneak, shoot, pilot skips, dodge. Spine is willpower, use null marks, charm, perception, skip weapons. And smarts is technical weapons, tech, science, fix something, investigate.
I will point out one thing I love about the stats is that one, usually like brawn and agility are the more like combat focused things, but you also have almost like if you're playing Cyberpunk, smart weapons, and you can use your smarts to use them instead, which is really cool. And you use spine to fire weaponry from your skip. So it's always something I thought more games should do, where if someone's like a badass down on the ground, I almost feel like the smart characters, like the intelligence-based ones, should be better in the ship and vice versa. I always thought it was a little unfair just to give that the badass on the ground are also a badass in the ship. So I really like that they shake it up a little bit with that.
Yeah.
All right, roll your stats, boys.
I rolled my brawn. My brawn is a 1, which is pretty good.
My brawn is a -2.
Okay.
Okay. Agility -1. Not great.
Agility, once again, -2.
My spine is 2.
My spine is also 2.
Nice. My smarts is -2.
What happens if it's 0? Do I re-roll?
No, it's just 0.
Okay, my smarts are 0.
So the way these work, again, you roll a d20 and you add your appropriate stat. So currently, if I were to make a smarts check, I would roll d20 and -2 from it. So to hit a 12, I would need a 14. But at least spine is +2.
For smarts, I rolled a 4, then once again, rolled a 4.
Good.
So we're both only good at spine?
I'm okay at brawn.
Well, I'm bad at all that stuff.
Mine's 1, -1, -2, or 1, -1, 2, -2.
-2, -2, +2, 0.
Good. Starting strong, boys.
Hell yeah.
Next up, you guys are going to be rolling for some of your like starting gear, that kind of stuff. Everyone has a skinterface, giving them so all scavs can access their skinterface, giving them basic information on the surrounding atmosphere, any new messages they've received, and a comm link back to their skip. As long as they have comms on their skip, the skip can forward that onto the comm wave for interstellar communication.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yes, so we get 3 different items alongside the skinterface. So D8, let's see what I get. I got a 6, so I get an emergency breathing apparatus.
Nice. D4 minutes of air. That can be very helpful. I got an old Eva suit.
Okay.
Because I rolled an 8.
Yet.
Next up is a D12.
Okay, let me find a D12.
I really like rolling D12s. I don't do it enough.
I know. I got a small vial of quantum compound.
Hell yeah. I got a plasma torch.
Cool. And one final D12.
Yeah, you're right. D12 is probably the least rolled dice in any game.
Feels good, though.
I got D8 glow sticks.
Hell yeah,
Hey,
get
roll
ready for a
those glow
party.
sticks.
I have 7 glow sticks.
I got 11, which is a random null mark. Fuck yeah. Or maybe not, actually. Fuck yeah, but also I'm scared now.
All right, put a star next to that. We will figure out what your random null mark is once we get down to the null marks. Now it's time to pick your classes.
All right.
So this is a D6.
I rolled a 2. I'm a freebooting skip breaker. Corps and the Authority have a stranglehold on spacecraft manufacturing, so the used market for skip parts is extremely lucrative. Years spent salvaging parts and melting the rest to slag have left you with fewer brain cells than you started with, but your hands are steady and your eyes are keen.
Hell yeah.
So I'm precise. I add a +2 to my agility, so
Nice.
I'm at a 0 agility. Nice. -2 to my smarts, so I'm down to a -2 smarts. So I'm worse than I was sort of a second ago. So my HP is brawn plus a D8.
Your brawn's a -2, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Hey, don't worry. It's at least 1. So if you roll a 1 or a 2, you still have 1.
It's an 8, -2.
That's pretty good. 6 HP.
6 HP. Ripples, D3.
So ripples are effectively luck or happenstance or like a hero point from a different game where you can spend them to either do like max damage or like roll. If you spend it before a roll you really want to do, you can get like a -4 to the difficulty rating on that. So it's essentially like luck points.
I got 2 ripples.
Hey, that's pretty good. So I think your class, I think, gets the most ripples because I think most of them are only D2s. Yeah, D2. Never mind. One of them has D4.
Well, fudge. I'm precise, which I think, that means like that's the agility bit. Not the brightest tool is the smart bit. My HP, my ripples. Do we want to go into the other bits? We'll hold off and let you do the start of yours.
No, let's do you fully, I think. Roll D6.
Okay. I survived by custom life support mods. I can roll twice and choose the results when you roll on the life support table.
Nice. So yeah, if needs be, you have life support like in your suit. So you'll be able to get an advantageous roll on that, which is going to be really helpful if that comes up.
Awesome. Long spacewalks have left you with some odd habits. You constantly mutter to yourself. Old conversations, funeral hymns, anything to balance out the silence.
Cool.
Great for Dane, me mumbling the whole time.
Yeah, I was going to say, excellent for an audio podcast. All right, now roll your class.
Yeah, we'll do spacesuits and weapons afterwards.
Now it's my turn. 1, which I believe is Hermetic Grease Monkey. So I guess +1 smarts, +1 brawn, -2 spine. No. My only good one and what I need to cast magic. God damn it. All right. So yeah, percussive maintenance. I get extra smarts and brawn, reclusive -spine. My HP is going to be brawn plus D8, which is good because I just got an extra brawn. So let's hit that. A 2. So I have 4 HP.
Nice. Same. No, I have 6. I lied to you.
My ripples are going to be a D2. So I'm going to say evens is 2. I get 1 ripple. The dice are not doing me right. But yeah, a little explanation of the class. You've spent hours with skip drives and can put one back together with your eyes closed. Something about the radioactive hum speaks to you in a way people never could, and the beauty of the pattern never looked better than in the engine room of the skip. All right, what do I have? 2, a strong arm. Add your brawn to damage rolls of melee weapons. That's pretty good.
Hell yeah.
And I have been working on a theory, and I feel like it would work if I could just find the right kit to build it. True AI. Think of all the good a drone like that could do.
It is very funny because good has like all artifacty and like gobbledygooky.
Yeah.
It's very warped and creepy, which is good because AI sucks shit. So
hell yeah, baby. Let's fight a robot.
I like to hope that despite the grim future, they don't have as grim of an AI as we're facing.
Do we have anything else to do?
Our weapons and stuff.
Like weapons. So if you want to go down to the weapons, I'll tell you what you need to roll, Ryan. So roll me a D8.
Oh, I can't get a katana. I have a heavy piece of filament.
Oh, you have the worst weapon. It's the femur of Mork Sol. So you do D3 damage, and it's basically just like an improvised. You're just holding like a pipe, basically, a piece of hull, anything you get your hands on.
That's me.
And you could sell it for price nothing. You can find this anywhere. All right, go to
spacesuits. Let's do it. D3. So I got a shock absorbent skip suit.
Nice.
So better than nothing. Might stop a bullet. -2 from damage, and I have D6 life support die.
It is for me. My turn. All right, I get a D2 for spacesuit and a D6 for weapon. So for weapon, I rolled a 3. I got a plasma thrower. And again, odds are 1, evens are 2. I got even, so I will also be having a shock absorbent skip suit.
Shock absorbent skip suit, boys.
Well, there goes my idea of rattling you guys around.
Not us.
Couldn't be us.
Not
it kind of makes
today.
sense that we're like, if we're a squad, we're outfitted the same way. That's what I assume. It's like got our cool little like relic hunters. Although we probably don't want to advertise that.
Cool. I think that's our characters.
All right, awesome. So we have our spacesuits, we have our weapons, we have our abilities. Oh, what we should do is we should roll for names on this handy table, and we should also roll for our homeworlds.
You also need to roll your null mark.
Shit, yeah. Which you want, names or null marks?
I think null mark is next, is it not?
Yeah, let's do it. So there are essentially 20 different options for a null mark, and I am very scared as to what is going to happen. I rolled a 20. So hopefully,
What?
Photonic engulfment. Excite the photons around D6 creatures, dealing D6 damage to each. It's pretty cool.
Cool. Nice. I have a stick. Did you know I have a stick?
But I also now have to roll for the null bleed that I have. Wish me luck. Okay, 4. Self-entanglement. I am entangled with a future version of myself. So when I crit fail, I switch places. Memories and sensations flood across time and space, disorienting your mind. For the next hour, I have a +4 DR to smart tests, but I can reroll a die 1 time. That's fun. I like that there's a little bit of positive and negative there, but my smarts are not going to be great, so...
Noted to self. Make sure to make you roll all the smarts checks.
Cool. Names?
Yeah, let's roll some names.
So 1-6. I'm Zax.
Zax, I like that. I'm Oren.
Zax and Oren.
And my home world, let's figure that out. 10. A planet racked by earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. On brand.
But yeah, I come from a planet with toxic atmosphere.
Good.
I think that makes sense why I have that old Eva suit then.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Well, we're excited to play. There's going to be some really cool bits, and Dane is going to actually probably get to kill us, which I'm sure is making him very excited.
Yeah. You guys have your ship. You have your... I'm going to give you guys time to think about your ship name. I don't want you to make a snap decision. We are going to have backup characters as well, which you guys can roll off air, just so that if you die very early, it's not just me playing with one other person.
Why would you think that? Why would you think that's going to happen, Dave?
And like I said, you guys will be working on board a ship. As I mentioned to you guys off air, you will not be the captain of the ship. There will be a captain, but you can choose where you are in terms of ranking, if there is a ranking system on the ship, or if it's just sort of like a, everyone pitches in kind of situation.
I'm higher than Ryan.
Perfect. Ryan?
A garbage man.
Just picking up old pipes.
It's true.
And yes, the campaign will start off with you guys being hired to investigate and locate a Scourge artifact that someone is looking for.
I'm very excited. Honestly, I've been really looking forward to playing this, and now that I have my character, I want to play so much more. So we gotta let's hurry up and get to that first episode. For everyone listening, go check out Mork Sol by Infinite Citadel. They are lovely people. We're really excited we get to do this with them, and you can go and be notified on launch of their Kickstarter. Go sign up right now and back it, because it's going to be rad.
We will see you in 2 weeks when we launch our epic 2-shot of Mork Sol.